so for the longest time, I've been trying to wonder about what I want to talk about. I have so many topics and so many things that they're just piling up, piling up. I gotta get it out there. All right. So one of the topics is this is gonna go. I have a podcast called "The State of Mars and Venus." I'm gonna put that in the script, but I'm gonna talk about the manosphere and hypergamy. Right. So this one is about the toxic things I noticed in the manosphere. I'm gonna hold little notes right there. Do you see that? Okay. So this is my notes. I've been watching. I've been paying attention to both little worlds going on the internet, right? So these are the issues I noticed in the manosphere, right? So one thing I noticed is down talking about women or trying to normalize the subjugation of women. You know, being rude to women, saying they need to shut up, basically trying to reinforce women are seen, not heard kind of thing going on. The reinforcement of outdated gender roles. Women cook in the kitchen and you do as I say, and men pay the bills and take out the trash kind of thing. I feel like in this modern day, people are a little bit more fluid and flexible about what gender normative is. So I feel like if you and your partner got a unit that works for you, why the fuck does it matter what anybody in society got to say? All right. The objectification of women. Talking about women as if they're objects or they're pets that need to be obedient. I said that before about the subjugation and submission. So that's something else. This is the problem that women have with pick-me type of women. Sometimes they reinforce these behaviors that a lot of women generally have issues with. So I'm going to go about that in the reverse about simping. But that's the problem that women have with the pick-me thing is it reinforces negative stereotypes about women, objectification, and outdated gender roles, right? So, another toxic thing I noticed in the manosphere, right? There are some red pill creators that completely ignore the reality of femicide, and that is the unaliving of women, right? So, unfortunately, we live in a society where women have been unalived or brutally injured from toxic male speech and ideology, right? So that's the second thing I noticed. One, like I said, the down talking and objectification of women. 2, ignores the reality of femicide. 3, can sometimes invalidate the reality or feelings that women experience. This also goes for the reverse for misandry. And also that kind of behavior can reinforce misogyny, invalidating the feelings or the reality of women, 4, it can make women seem as if they are beneath men. And that is something that is creating distance in dating. I've noticed, right? So those are the toxic things I noticed about the manosphere, right? Misogyny. All right, do the list again. 1, down talking of women. 2, ignores the reality of femicide. 3, invalidates the reality and feelings of women, aka misogyny. 4, makes women feel as if they are beneath them, which creates dating distance, right? All right, now let's take it to the flip side. Those were the toxic things I noticed about the manosphere. Now let's take it to the hypergamy feminist sphere, right? These are the toxic things I noticed in hypergamy feminist sphere, right? All right, the first thing I noticed is 1, it can sometimes promote that women have no feelings and just use men. Reverse objectification in a way. So reverse objectification is something I noticed in hypergamy and feminism. The toxic thing I noticed that when it's toxic, right? Both of these things I don't think are really bad. The manosphere is not really bad. feminism is not really bad. I just feel like when you add these toxic things to it, that's when it becomes bad and creates distance for everybody, right? So, like I said, a reverse objectification suggests that women use men and go around having no feelings. Um, Two, this can also undermine. I've seen where men are undermined and emasculated, and it makes them feel insecure about being providers, and it makes them feel insecure about being assertive, which can also create distance in dating, right? So those are something I noticed in feminism and hypergamy. Three, unhealthy male bashing, right? Basically, misandry, which is the hatred of men, right? So the unhealthy male bashing can make it seem as if men are obsolete, which I said before creates distance in dating, right? So, let's go. The fourth thing I noticed, each of these have four things. The fourth thing I noticed about feminism that can be toxic, feminism or hypergamy that can be toxic, is many of them may promote unhealthy communication with men. And I think this is coming from a triggered place about abuses done to women through the patriarchy and personal abuses in their own personal lives, right? So I feel like that can promote unhealthy communication between men and women, right? So basically, if this ideology goes too far, it becomes misandrist, which I said, the hatred of men. So misogyny is the hatred of women, and misandry is the hatred of men, right? So both of these things have the reverse of another, like men objectifying women, and then on the reverse, women objectifying men. So this is the list for the toxic thing I noticed about feminism or hypergamy. 1, reverse objectification. 2, undermining and emasculation of men. 3, healthy unmale bashing, which creates distance in dating. And 4, promotes unhealthy communication with men. Right? So here's the wrap-up piece, right? The wrap-up piece to this is the manosphere on its best day. Well, let me see. Let's reel that back in. The manosphere on its worst day promotes toxic women hate speech, which can lead to femicide or injury and objectification of women, i.e., women are not collectibles; they are human beings with feelings, right? And hypergamy / feminism on its worst day promotes that men be objectified without remorse, or that women emasculate men by mental or verbal abuse, i.e., the more malignant a woman may become, the more physically aggressive she may also become. And there are some men out there who don't hit, and usually I notice this, it'd be the men that don't hit women that end up with women that will sit there and hit them all day, and you'd be sitting there like, why are you hitting him? He don't hit women, like, taking advantage, right? All right, so let's go to the flip side. The manosphere on its best day challenges men to become the best versions of themselves and look for women who respect themselves on their best day. That's what the manosphere does. You know, looking for a woman that's not sleeping around, looking for a woman that values her life. I mean, if you do want a woman that's your choice. Everybody has their choice, right? So this is the manosphere on its best day. And I'll say hypergamy or feminism on their best day empowers women to be the main character of her life while finding a man who respects himself, i.e., not sleeping around with a bunch of women and doesn't run from accountability, right? So those are the positive takeaways from each. But I just feel like because of the toxic sides of each little sphere, each little world, it creates distance between people. But I see what it does for men and for women, but it's just those toxic things in there that it can get people caught up, you know. Like I said, I do stuff because I see the channels and the spheres taking place, and I feel like there's a lot of well-intended men and women who have got hurt by this user culture, who have got hurt by running into narcissists or people with abusive personalities, and they're just trying to find their healing. And both of these platforms do encourage them to heal, but there's also some toxic things that people may carry in because of their hurt. And I feel like if you're gonna be on these platforms doing your healing, just be aware that there's some toxic things out there that can make things worse, you know. But like I said, on its best day, these are the things that it does. Like I said, I'm gonna go back over. I wrote it down. Once again, the writing down of things. All right. So, like I said, again, the Manosphere on its best day challenges men to become the best versions of themselves and look for a woman who respects herself, i.e., not sleeping around, values her life, right? And Hypergamy and Feminism on its best day empowers women to be the main character of her life, while finding a man who respects himself, i.e. not sleeping around and doesn't run from accountability, right? So, though that was my short video to say the things I noticed about hypergamy, feminism, and the manosphere and patriarchy. Well, I didn't even mention patriarchy, but yeah, alright? So, I'm going to do more stuff about this, you know. I want to talk more about the patriarchy and feminism and how we got to the point that we are in the state of the world, but that's a whole another video for a whole different day. But with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this on up. I'm gonna start doing more of these. I want to expand. I want to just be creative. I want to be informative. I want to have a discourse with you guys, and also I want to do some entertaining stuff for you guys. I might still do some more singing stuff, some more dancing stuff. There's some more skits coming. I just have to edit them. It's taking a minute. I'm sorry for the wait with the skits, but yeah. So like I said before, I have a podcast about this. It's called The State of Mars and Venus. I actually have two podcasts, but the one that talks about topics like these, it's called the Cherie Lamo Show, The State of Mars and Venus. It's on Podbean. I'm starting to circulate it out there now. It's pretty new, so we're still building. But my other podcast I started a few years ago. It has a little bit of a following there, but I have to start adding more stuff to it. I'm gonna start adding more stuff to that other podcast, and the other podcast is called it's on. I forgot what it's on Anchor, and it's called Jane Doe Like Django. It talks about a lot of political stuff and a lot of issues for Black people. So, and people of color. I talk about a lot of different stuff with that. But yeah, those are my two podcasts. I'm going to put them in the description. And I also might edit it into this video somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be here or there or there or there. Somewhere. One of these angles, right? And also, my merch, right? So I started my merch collection. It's called Cherie Lamo ENT. Here's a couple things. I got some pictures here and some pictures there. And I'm going to do a whole slideshow. Look at the mug. Insert music. There we go. Support the Cherie Lamo Show. You can listen to my podcast. You can follow my channel, my Facebook, my Instagram. And you could also go to my store and look at my merch. I think you guys will like it. I hope you guys like it. But with that being said, I'm all done. I'm wrapping this up. Bye and peace.